Hi, welcome to another book review. Today we are going to check a very new book, The Intuitive Magician. It's written by Justin Higham and it's really fresh. Okay, it just came out last month, and the people were very kind to give me a copy to review. You can follow the link, and let's take a look. So, this is a softcover book, okay, 516 pages long. It has a lot of volume, and it's mainly targeted to new people, okay, in magic in general. It's for every type of magic, but it's mostly targeted to the beginners. Now, 1/3 of the book, approximately, the book tackles a subject that I don't really find happening any. I'll give an example, like forgetting the trick, or getting blank when you ask to perform, which I have never experienced it, even as a beginner, and I don't know anybody who has. But if you're a beginner and you have this type of problem, the book offers a lot of solutions for it. Now, to some more useful things, there is a nice chapter talking about the effort to effect ratio, and the idea here is to minimize the effort in relation to the effect. Okay, so the method of the effect might, let's say you want to turn a card over, okay, you might need, for example, 3 slides to turn the card over. If you can do it with 1 slide, this would be an improvement, okay, and it will increase the overall clarity of the effect. Now, that would be the objective way of canceling, a certain method, just because you found a way to do it with less slides. There is also the personal way, because sometimes these two, the objective way and the personal way, can cause a conflict. Why that is? Because this one move that you might need to do an effect, it might not be in your repertoire. You might not be able to do it. So you need to find a solution to this with a simpler move. And sometimes, well, I don't really agree with this in the book. I believe that when you try to simplify the method in order to increase the clarity of an effect, you might have to do a sleight that you don't know how to do it, okay? For me, this will give you 2 options. Either you're going to abandon the trick or learn the sleight, okay, if you think that this is a perfect sleight for this job. But I wouldn't change it to an easy one just because I cannot do it. However, the book tells you to that the personal effort to the effect, okay, which depends on someone's skill level, matters. But I disagree with the book. I think it doesn't matter. A great effect is going to be a great effect, okay? I think there is an objective way to determine if an effect is great, regardless of the skill level. If this is the best move, you should be able to do the best move. But okay, understanding that this is targeted for beginners, my advice would be to find a different trick, not just do bad tricks, But the book goes in a lot of examples just to help you identify superficial moves that you need to discard, and they're mainly done for the sake of sleight of hand, and that's really useful. Now, there is another chapter that I find it very interesting, which is called the Pick a Card chapter, and it tackles the subject of effects that the spectator has to pick a card, and it divides it in 3 parts. One is the selection of the card, second is the way you're going to set the impossible conditions, and third is the reveal. This way is going to help you understand the strategies of making the effect more impactful. For example, when a beginner first does tricks, he just it's like reciting, a partiture, a music sheet. But with this, what the author wants to tell you is that you have options. Beginners don't know that they have options, but they do. So by separating, for example, a pick a card trick to these three main components, you can realize that, for example, there is a pick a card, okay, but in the middle section, the impossibility, you can actually shuffle the cards face up and face down, all right? And this is called the triumph effect. And for the reveal, there are many roads you can follow. There is also, you can take, for example, a card, have a card selected, shuffle it in the deck, and then find a very nice way to reveal it. Nobody, when you're a beginner, you will follow that. But if you have an open eye, you will understand that the same effect can happen without a free selection. It can be forced, and you might have a duplicate at the end and make it, make the reveal in any possible location. So, and this way, someone who has just started doing tricks can find a slide, okay, and understand why this slide is useful. Very, very good. That I like in this book. And now there's another very interesting chapter, and which is regarding methodology and when to change a method depending on the circumstances of the effect. What I mean by that, you might have a move that works while seated, but you might not be seated when you are asked to do a magic trick, right? So it's good to have an alternative. However, you might have you might have like the same way, okay, make the way of making the trick, adjusting it rather, to be able to work whether you're seated or standing up. So the book tries to help new magicians that they have learned the trick and they found themselves in positions under some circumstances where they are not able to perform it, and it gives a lot of tips on how to cancel, creating backups, and improvise. Generally, the whole book is about improvisation, but you have to understand the trick in order to be able to improvise around it, or the effect. I think this is a better word. And that pretty much sums it up. I want to also mention that near the end of the book there is a great section about the reasons of performing. Let's say, for example, you want to perform a card trick just to do a card trick, okay? That will not invite audiences to see it, because there is, for example, a societal bias towards what magician means. Let's say someone who's pulling a rabbit out of the hat, all these cliches that people associate magicians with. This is called bias because it's like the same thing. For example, let's say you do a trick to someone. Okay, he's about to pick a card, and he says, "I have seen this one." You haven't even started the trick. You just tell the person to pick a card, and he tells you that he has seen this trick. This has happened occasionally to me as well. And I thought this is simply, the person is an idiot. Okay, you hear a C note, and you think that you have heard the whole piece without knowing what comes next. So that's something that I haven't thought about regarding this sentence, and it's explained here that this is caused because of this bias that we have associated with a magician. So it's nice to have a reason when you do a trick, and not doing a trick for the trick's sake. And do a trick because you want to, hey, for example, I can make this card do this interesting thing, or not just go and do a trick. And later on, you will understand that you are able to explain the trick later after the trick has just started, okay? Towards the end of the book, it will give you the reason of performing, basically, which will try to eliminate the bias that people have and make performing or asking to perform, much easier. I usually don't ask. Usually it happens organically, and I think this is the best way. But you can actually force it. Okay, if you have people that you don't know and you just want to approach them for any reason, this will give you a great tip. So that's the book. But yeah, I think I covered everything that I needed. I want to tell you two things. That this book for me, it's like a cheap version of Designing Miracles, okay, and a worse version, but for a beginner, I think it is great, which is where this book is targeted to. So the book is for beginners, regardless of what type of magic you want to do. This is theory, and it focuses on improvising, okay, in order to make some tricks more impactful, but not only necessarily improvising, also understanding the tricks, how they work, what do they mean, why they are impactful, and how to strengthen them, etc. So I'm gonna leave the review of that. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. And one more time, I'm gonna say it again. Perhaps one of the best beginner theory books. So see you on my next video. Take care.